It is the next morning. The first rays of dawn are peering through the canopy of trees above you. A slight summer breeze is hitting the leaves as they slowly sway in the breeze. And as you wake up, you see that many of the elves seem to be getting ready for this next portion of their trek. You all still don't know exactly why you were chosen to come along, but you get the feeling that you get the feeling that it's that you feel too under watch to be honored guest, but you feel like you are given too many nice things to be prisoners, but there's something something's going
fishy.
on. Something's fishy.
Something's up.
Something's fucked.
As you are waking up and Llewellyn stops by the alcove that you guys are in and says, like, we're going to be moving out soon, so, like, get ready. And she disappears. Lirael, you see, walking along one of the branches is Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness. And
Yes.
they are kind of going over here and talking to a Wode elf, and you know, kind of they're laughing, and another Wode elf comes, and they're kind of like having a conversation, and then eventually these Wode elves go away, and you see Falling Star make eye contact with you, and you can see in their eyes a beckoning welcome to you.
How far are they?
They're quite a bit up this tree.
Okay.
They're like above you.
So is this like... What's the vibe? Is it like bring everyone up here, or is it just, you know?
Oh no, it's definitely like a you me thing.
It's just
like,
a-
hey, like come here.
All right. I'm gonna start trying to climb my way up the tree somehow. I assume there's stairways.
Yeah, there's like
or an
ladders
elevator.
and stairs and stuff and ropey things. Yeah.
I will be right back.
As you start making your way over to where Falling Star is standing, she slowly begins to kind of walk, occasionally looking back over her shoulder at you, this way.
When you say this way, was that like on a map somewhere, or?
Oh, yes. Sorry, am I not sharing the map with y'all?
You are not.
Here we go.
Thank you.
There's the map.
This is still pretty in the daytime.
Yeah, it's so pretty. So she is kind of walking
Pretty.
over this way. So she was here, and now she is walking over here. And she makes her way up to kind of a platform that's very high up in the trees, and it actually this platform peaks just above the canopy. And as you reach the top of the platform, you can see that if you stand up completely, you can just see a sea of green. And you see a beautiful blue morning sky. And in the distance, you see just vast forest. And about just in the distance of your vision, you can see that there is a valley where the forest kind of dips down, and in the center of the valley is a massive tree.
Oh,
It's beautiful, is it not?
it is.
And this is all in Heraldic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the direction we're going?
That is where the King of the Wode makes his home. It's a wonderful place. I've only ever heard stories of it from my childhood. It's not often that high elves come to the domain of the Wode Elf King.
I am curious what you're doing here. Not to be too straightforward, but most of our kind don't particularly enjoy being out amongst the leaves.
For many centuries, it seems that our people have been somewhat divided. Us and our Wode kin. I think the world is beginning to change, and I think those that are divided will be lost easily. I mean to confide in you, as I know of your family. They are good people. But we have a chance to unite our people under one banner. This is a chance at redemption for our kin amongst the trees.
Under the banner of...
We are, you could say, a banner that is placed in between elfkind and their possible annihilation. I've seen dark omens in my dreams lately. Perhaps you have too. Something is stirring in the west. I wish for you to aid me in extending an olive branch to the Wode Elf King. Long have our two families been separated and have had strife, and I think it is time that we bring them together again. All of us, all the children of Val.
For what purpose, though? If I know the dark dreams you speak of. I have them as well. But are you attempting to fly under the banner of the Wode Elf Regency? Because I doubt many of our kin would be very accepting of that.
No, that's, I do not mean to, bow to a king whose land is slowly being taken from him. I need you to help me convince, to show the king that his borders are not secure. The forest is shrinking. With what you saw with those goblins, if the enchantments had lasted, if there had been any goodwill of man remaining, the forest would be a sacred place. But it is not any longer. The king does not have the power to enforce protection for his people. In this, I would like you to give testimony about the goblins you found in that area. If you can show proof that goblins were able to make it this far into the Wode, we can finally convince the king that the protections that were put over the Wode long ago are failing. And only by them joining with their high kin will they be able to survive the oncoming war.
Survive how? Survive by resisting?
The High Elf Council of Noldor has come to a recent agreement with Ajax.
Yup.
We believe that Ajax, a madman that he is, a human and a tyrant, he will not care who he's cutting down as long as he gets claim to his land. However, we have secured somewhat of a deal with Ajax's wizard Mortem. We have been supplying Mortem with a few older artifacts, and in return, he has left our territory to us. However, he has not promised the same for the Wode Elves. If the king joins Ajax now, before his landfall in Vasloria, we will secure a spot for all elven kind on his council. Salvation for our species, for our brothers and sisters.
You genuinely believe that? You genuinely believe that there will be a place for us?
I know who Ajax is. I know what type of man he is, but we do not have the strength that we once did. When we had alliances with men and dwarves, we have no alliances. The High Elves have been slowly disappearing from these lands. The Wode has been shrinking. Wode Elves are often into conflict with hobgoblins for their territory. We do not have the strength that we once had to resist such an army. The only way we survive is by playing this long game that only we can play. It is the way in which we are to survive this war.
That is assuming that the truce offered is not a lie.
So far, Ajax's wizard has kept up his part of the deal. I would not be here if the council did not believe that there was a chance for redemption and security for the Wode Elves. You know the relations. You know how bad it has to be for the council to send an emissary to the Wode Elf king, one that has long declared independency from any of the high royal family of the High Elves. We are here because we believe this is their last chance.
And if they don't, will you be the one to cut them down?
No, we have no part. Don't get me wrong, sister cousin. We have no part of this war. We do not wish to be. We are not servants of Ajax or part of his grand scheme or army. We have maintained a neutral position that will work out for us.
Does she actually believe that? Is there any way I could
read person? It would be
read
hard.
person?
It would be hard.
Yeah,
though.
I know. Okay. I think I need to know.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I
Roll
do
a
that with-
hard test.
With presence?
Yeah.
Reason?
With presence.
Alright, I'll do presence. Okay, well, let's see. Come on. Now's the time for double taps.
Ooh, wait, hang on. I'm gonna ignore that one.
Oh,
Hang on.
Thank you.
I want you to make this roll in the dice tower.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good use
Yeah.
for it. That's a good use for it. Okay, I'm adding my presence, which is what that extra +2 is.
Okay. Let me make sure that did it right. Yeah, +4 total. Yeah, okay.
Yes, it should be +4.
You look at this beautiful elf who has quite a few years on you. They've been around a couple times more than you, and you fully believe that they are from the council of the High Elves in Vanagar, and that they genuinely seem to have a real passion and care for all elf kind, and they are worried that the Wode Elf King and his people are going to... They're basically in danger. But it's really hard to read
Yeah.
more.
It's the stupid fucking... yeah. No, I figured that would be the outcome, but I had to try.
Falling Star sighs and says, I hate to say it to you, but your party died the moment they stepped foot in this forest. But I knew that I could save you. Join me in convincing the king to bend the knee to Ajax. It's the only way.
That is... See... If we were in a diplomacy situation, that would have been the... pitfall. She would have just fucking hit a pitfall with me, so... I don't speak for only myself. Who am I kidding? My own... Am I kidding? What you're asking me, to clarify, you're asking me to support your bid to get the Wode Elf, our kin, our cousin, to join the side of Ajax.
Not join the side. Just be wrapped into our deal with Ajax so that they may come to the north with us for safety while this war goes on. It's going
And
to take a
how long-
lot to convince the king that he needs to move his people, but this Wode isn't safe anymore.
How safe is the council? Their strategy is merely appeasement of a madman. It's trading, from what you've said, trading priceless ancient artifacts for a hope of being ignored.
It's not a hope, it's... Listen, we didn't need these artifacts anywhere. They're from the Ancient of Days, and they're an old, forgotten Sky Elf language, and they're not even going to know what to do with them. They're just genuinely interested in the old floating cities.
The madman sorcerer is not interested in anything more than the history of these items.
It is difficult, this situation that I put you in, but I know
agree.
that when I was sent by the council, I knew that I would fail in this task. There was no chance that I would be able to communicate to the king. And even if the council, there's not much that I could have done, but when I found you and your party, inspiration struck me. This is what I could use to help secure the safety of the people. This is the sacrifice that we must make to ensure that our kin live on.
That we must make. Our kin? These are our cousins? This is...
No, your friends.
I think... No, I want to say, this is out of character. I think Laurel has a lot to think about and is going to begin to walk away.
Say nothing to your friends. But think about what I've asked you. Really think. Are your friends worth the lives of all of our kin in the forest? Think about it. All right.
As I'm walking down, is Lavellan actually here?
Yeah, Lavellan's right here.
Can I give her a similar look of that I got before of, hey, follow me.
Okay, yeah, Lavellan follows you.
I'd rejoin. So, here's what happened. I fucking ignore what she told me to. And I quietly, in whispered tones, spill the beans.
Lavellan instantly says, "That snake! I knew this was a high elf ruse. This is...
Yeah.
They've been wanting to... Your kind have been wanting to take us over for however long.
You were the one who warned me last night.
Forget about the inn squabbling right now.
The king will never bow to this...
Forget about the infighting right now. What's more important is that this madman who's trying to conquer is not going to stop at one or two lands. He's going to take everything.
Right,
I've been part of wars and campaigns. It does not end until the capital is taken.
Oh shit, can we retcon to say that Ajax has destroyed Higara already? That would be fucking cool.
Ooh.
I'm down.
Like, Ajax has already conquered Higara.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. That way you have, like, personal experience. Like, I've seen what he's done to the city, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's...
Ajax took our capital city. He's taken Higara. He's not going to stop until he has everything.
Yes, but it's all been with you humans. He has nothing to do with us. We'll just stick to the Wode. Like we
And if you
always
stick
have.
to the Wode, you'll die. The
So what do you
same as
say?
my
We
people
bend the
do.
knee to some tyrant?
No!
No!
Far be it for that to happen. I'm saying we gather strength where we can.
Whoa, 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 whoa. But if you're talking about convincing the elves to pick a war with...
You had allies before.
Yes, in ages long ago when
You
we
can
when we
have them
treated with
again.
men and dwarves, but they've long abandoned us. The dwarves have delved deeper into their homes than ever before. Men chop down our forests.
Then it'll be harder to reach them, but we reach them all the same because there is nothing that we can do other than reach them and tell them what is coming.
This is... she puts her hands up. This is too much for me.
I had assumed this was coming after our conversation last night.
I was not expecting this. I thought it was some high elven ploy to maybe take back the jewels that were granted to us by our ancestors, or maybe in exchange of the crown upon the king's head, some political bullshit. But this is
This is insanity.
even
We must
for the high elf
convince-
council. This is insanity. Either they must think it's that bad.
They do.
We must convince your
They've
king
been trading.
of
they've
the
been
growing
trading-
threat.
Been trading artifacts.
What?
The High Elven Council have been trading ancient artifacts of our past to appease the tyrant. But see, oh, good. And I don't think that's gonna work. What happens when we run out? What happens if they unlock whatever lost knowledge takes to use these things? This is bad.
Shit.
Yeah! Lirel actually is losing her fucking... Lirel is actually losing her
Gods
cool
be
at this point.
damned! This is...
We must
Ugh.
convince your king of the danger that is coming and what he needs to do.
We?
and must
No, no, no,
oust-
no, 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 no. I'm
No,
not any part of
we
this.
must oust your cousin.
No. That would be suicide to go against my cousin. No, no. I didn't... What did she
against-
want with you all? Why did she bring you all along?
She said that something about us sacrificing something. Or, more accurately, me sacrificing my friends here. And quite frankly, they interest me far too much to sacrifice them at the moment.
Sacrifice. I don't understand. Even if the
Like the
king,
implication that you would later.
if the king
That implies that you would
decreed,
later.
if the decree came that the king believed you to be trespassing upon his sacred grounds, and there was an order to lay arrow into you, I would stand against it. I see that you are good people.
Appreciate that.
Although I was wary at the beginning, I think that I've seen that. And although you don't belong here, you definitely don't deserve to die here.
I would appreciate not dying here. Got a lot. I have a few tour dates to meet.
I still have
There's
to avenge my entire village.
there's the hoot of an owl responded to by the call of a bluebird, and Llewellyn's ears point up, and she looks off in the distance, and she says, "We must go."
This conversation never happened. And I look at my group as well. This conversation never happened.
Yeah, so you guys are being escorted to
Yeah, that's-
the home of the Wode elves, and y'all can, I'm just gonna say, as y'all talk, y'all are being escorted to the place. Like,
It's hard to
Yeah.
it's hard to strategize when we know she can basically walk in silence and we won't know she's there. We've seen her basically teleport and
So
show
about
up out
that
of nowhere.
stag that I saw earlier. That was crazy.
Yeah.
crazy.
We're gonna talk about that.
Crazy.
We're gonna talk about the fact that I saw that.
Yeah, what you saw
I have no
White?
idea. Yeah, it was a white stag with black eyes.
Odd.
Pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Fuck. What the fuck? How are we supposed to strategize? I guess we... Is she... Can we see... can we see Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness?
Yeah, she's at the front of the group.
I gotta think. Lorel realizes that there's no way to really strategize here, and that she'll just have to figure it out.
There's a loud
And hope
clanging.
we're all on the same page.
There's a loud clanging noise, and erupting from Diderot's knapsack is King Kobold, who says, "We die?
No,
No, we haven't yet.
not yet.
We die, you tell me!" And he goes down. He goes back down.
I
tell
think
you.
that's got to be the most he said ever.
We die, you tell.
You
Yeah,
tell.
maybe.
Yeah, 4 words in
Could
a
be.
sentence. He's learning.
Usually it's we die. Sometimes.
You die.
I don't really remember if he said anything when he pulled me out of the tomb. Yeah, that might have been the first 4 words that he strung together in an actual sentence.
We take up. I feel like above table, we've taken up the hardest possible position.
Yep.
Like
Good luck.
the more it'd be so much easier if we were actually trying to convince the king to join Ajax.
Yep.
'Cause man. Ugh. So as we're walking through the woods, is there? So we're approaching that big tree I saw off in that's
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big ol' tree.
Big old tree. And none of you have been obviously none of you have been here before. Why
No, I come
would
here
I
all the
even
time.
ask that?
I hang out with my stag friend.
Oh really?
Yeah. All the
Nah.
time.
You got-
You have a flashback to when you were talking to Falling Star over Sea of Darkness in the morning, and I forgot to add this,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you remember this
I
moment in the
remember.
conversation where Falling Star over
kinda
Sea of
walked off.
Darkness says, this is not a choice that the Wood Elf King can make. The choice will be made. His hand will be forced if he does not make a choice. This is his only chance at salvation.
So you're not really offering him much of a
She's attempting
choice here.
It's the
So-
illusion of choice that she's hoping.
We could play along, and then the problem is above table. If we play along and then metaphorically stab her in the back, I think we're screwed anyway.
I am wondering who's on what's her name's side and who's on Falling Star's side, you know. Among the elves.
Llewellyn seems to think that Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness has a position of power over her,
Mhm.
unless I misunderstood that.
So Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness is basically a emissary from the High Council. She's a diplomat, like a politician. Llewellyn is a warrior who has been tasked with safely bringing the emissary to the king. So it's like her job. Like, she's just a warrior.
Right.
Like a higher ranking one, but not like the level of like nobility like Falling Star is.
It just seems like it falls to like decorum
Okay.
and like a lot of political, like she has me in a bind, I have to do this because the king said whatever, that sort of stuff, you know.
But if we turn against Falling Star,
We're gonna make enemies regardless of what we do here.
absolutely.
I'd rather not be enemies with Llewellyn. Falling Star can shove a fucking rock down her throat.
I agree. I don't agree with that, but that's a tad violent. But
I mean,
Oh wait, that's above table. Sorry.
she sucks. I don't like her. She uses flowery language, and she's trying to strong arm the king. It's not cool.
I'm gonna say
Hmm.
just to kind of like
Yeah.
speed things along.
Yeah.
We will skip to arriving.
Yeah.
I'm
And
fine with that.
basically it's like a treehouse on steroids. Like
Yeah.
it is like this massive tree that supports a whole like city made of wood, and it's beautiful like carved wood that have like murals and decorations everywhere. And you made really good time. It's still day, though the sun is it's probably like late afternoon at this point. But you are led up through a myriad of stairs until you come outside of what looks to be like a beautiful wooden chapel. Um, you are stopped, and there are many guards that circle around you as Llewellyn enters the chapel for a moment and then exits. And as she exits, she goes over to Falling Star and says, the king has graciously allowed you time out of his busy day as you have come all the way from the High Council. And Falling Star Overseer of Darkness nods and says, I'm very grateful that the king honors our wishes. And she opens the door, and you are all led in to the throne room of the king.
Time for a stressful diplomatic boss fight.
Yep.
As you walk in, you see beautiful
Ooh.
golden statues of the Vanguard elves, heroes of the ancient world that actually founded like the military which the Wode elves like currently use or whatever. And far at the end of the throne, there is steps leading up to a raised dais that is suspended over just like the forest floor below. Like you can see the canopy beneath you. And on either side, there are these beautiful wooden, I don't know, like wooden art things that actually you can stand on and see directly down through to the forest floor below. It's kind of trippy. Like it's like, oh, should I be standing on this? It's like when you go to a skyscraper and there's like you can stand on the like glass and
Oh,
it feels weird.
Oh,
yeah.
Hate those.
Sitting in a golden chair, which kind of at the heart of this large tree and among its like roots and vines that twist around it, there is a old short goateed Wode elf with large apple-sized eyes, a few wrinkles on his nose, which for elves is like, holy shit, this dude must be ancient. And he has on his head a simple yet elegant silver crown. Doesn't look very kingly. It kind of looks like a little like circlet, like a silver circlet placed upon his head. And the king rises from his chair, and Falling Star bows and steps forward, and she reaches out for his hand, which has a gold ring on it with a sapphire embedded, and she kisses the ring. And he sits back down, seeming pleased, and she and the guards kind of like step in front of her, and she goes back down. And the king speaks in a language that none of you fucking understand.
God damn it.
No. I didn't take Wode Elf in
Horse.
college.
The one time we've done this playtest without having fucking a Wode elf in our group.
Yep.
The one time.
Didn't make sense to me. Born to be anti-magic.
And with that
I-
last sentence, he reaches a withered finger towards you four. From the trees, it seems, a song reaches your ears. You hear a beautiful melody speaking to you from within your mind. And Lirel, you hear a beautiful melody, but a sad, somber tune begin to arise. And the tune is an old, like, nursery rhyme that your mother used to sing to you. To Oksana, the tune comes to you and makes you feel tired a little bit. Like a little tired, but also kind of rested. Like you feel at ease. Azeroth, you hear, oddly enough, kind of the strange rhythms of like Time Raider music in this song. And Daitaro, there is a tear that you find on your cheek as a song hits your ears, and it's in the tongue of your homeland. And it's of a voice that you once knew, who is no longer here. As you all are mesmerized, stepping out from behind the throne is a beautiful Wode elf queen. And she wears upon her head a beautiful antlered, golden weaved circlet. And her eyes are these like intense pink, violet, deep eyes. Her hair is long and braided down past her ears. And she stands at the king's side. And Falling Star bows and says in High Elven, Nanye vorar geran istom lim an algathar, which you know as, the light of Val shines brightly in my heart today, for I have seen the song of 100 voices under an open sky. And she bows deeply. And as she moves forward, you notice that this Wode elf, although it is a Wode elf, there is that kind of like high elf glamour magic around her, that her form, you see her form and it's not changing, but you're just drawn to her like a cold shivering soldier to a warm fire after a long battles, like after a long day of battle. Like something just draws you to her. And she says, in common, my good king, let's not be hasty, for each of these have a story to tell, do they not? As the birds in the sky sing, a story is in all of our hearts. And he kind of grumbles a bit, and she sits at his side. And Falling Star over Sea of Darkness bows again and says, it is an honor. I did not know that we would be graced with the song of 100 voices under an open sky, the Lady of the Fallen Rose. And she bows very deeply. And you notice that all the other people in the room are bowing as well to her.
I've already
Closer.
joined in.
Okay. And the Elf King speaks in Eurylic again, because he doesn't give a shit about learning anything else. But the Lady of Fallen Roses does translate. And she says, the king is curious as to why one was invited, but 5 appear. Yes. Perhaps Llewellyn would be able to give a report of these that we found in your territory, my lord. Trespassing. And Llewellyn looks like a dirty look over at Falling Star.
God damn it.
And looks back at you, Lirael, and the look that Llewellyn gives you is like, oh fuck, I know what she meant now. Like she has a look of recognition in your eyes, and she's like desperately trying to
She's
communicate.
throwing us under the goddamn bus.
She's trying to communicate to
trespassers.
you. She's trying to communicate to you, like I know what she's planning, but she can't say anything. Like she can't say anything.
I've picked it up.
Uh,
She's throwing us under the goddamn bus to gain favor.
Lavelin, in Eurylic,
I should have seen that coming.
bows a knee to the king and gives a full report of she doesn't use the language trespassing at all. She uses very like neutral language. And
Traveling.
she does add that they were on a mission to kill our enemies, the goblins that have been festering in the western part of the Wode. And so she gives her report and kind of smiles coyly at Falling Star over a sea of darkness, and then backs up. And Falling Star says, "I admit, my king,
My king.
oh no, she doesn't say my king. She says, I admit, your majesty. This was not part of my plan, but I indeed saw an opportunity. And I found, along with them, a dear cousin sister of mine." And she motions and says, "You may introduce yourself. Please come forward."
Oh, I do step forward. I do a bow, as a fairly deep bow. I'll speak in Kalian because I feel like speaking in Heraldic is a bad plan right now.
I feel like every time you've spoken in Kalian and it hasn't gone well, I feel like you should probably speak in Heraldic instead.
Do you think I should?
Yes. Among elves,
the Lady of
it
Fallen
doesn't matter
Rose
what
is...
Elvish you know, just
Well,
speak
I
it.
will say the Lady of Fallen Rose is speaking Kalian.
My name is Lorel, song in a hastened heart. I take a deep bow.
At this, the lady, her ears perk up, and
I would like... Oh,
she excitedly runs down the steps to you, and
can I use...
Oh yeah?
I'm sorry. Can I use "But You Have Heard of Me" specifically on Lady of the Fallen Rose?
Oh
has
shit. Okay, wait.
Because
What does that
So,
do? Tell me
you
again.
can choose to invoke your reputation at the start of a social interaction with the community that hasn't met you before, automatically creating a bond with a representative NPC as if you're using your Ace of Hearts feature. While the bond is active, all present heroes are treated as having 2 higher renown for the purposes
shit.
of negotiations and influencing tasks within the community. The
Fuck.
director may choose to award the heroes with a hope token to stop me from making this bond and make me infamous with the community.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gambling
fun.
here. I'm gambling on the fact that she feels the type, based off of pure vibe alone and how she's spoken, that maybe she's a little more worldly than her husband
Mm-hmm.
and might have heard of me.
Yes. In fact, she is second cousins to your mother.
Oh!
So you are actual kin.
Yeah.
She
God.
runs down and she clasps your hands and says, "The song in a hastened heart has met with the song of 100 voices over an open sky. May they sing together and both be harmonious." And she bows and says, "Your mother, a song underneath quiet woods, was my, whatever, my sister's daughter's sister or whatever.
Yeah.
She tells you that you're basically cousins."
With how few high elves there are and how long they live, it makes sense that we know basically our extended family.
So because everyone has higher renown, I'm gonna say that the interest of the king, or not the interest, the patience of the king goes up by 1.
Okay.
Because he now realizes, oh shit, my wife is really okay. Maybe I'll listen to these losers. Like whatever. I guess my wife. This is my kin.
This is up to you. But during negotiations, Ace of Hearts, which is the bond I have with her, I during negotiations with this NPC, their patience increases by 1. So that's
Oh.
where it would come from.
Yes. Yeah.
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 And
She greets
also,
you
if I
happily.
make compelling arguments to her specifically, interest instead of increasing by 1 will increase by 2.
The king makes a deep noise in his throat and speaks in Cyrillic again. It's hard. It's hard, y'all. I mean,
It is.
listen.
No, it's
He's the
yeah.
king of the Wode Elves. He's gonna speak his fucking language.
No, I respect it. I respect it.
The lady goes, "Come now, Cadfael. Let us listen. Let us listen to their story." And he says something else, and she says, "Indeed, it was Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness that was meant to be here, and so we will allow Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness to speak why they are here." And Falling Star
Snake.
begins to kind of take center stage.
Yeah, that's I let her.
And
I let her dig her own grave.
she says, "Good king, I come from the High Council. I come to give you a message and a warning. Long ago are the days in which to make dealings with man. The promises made in the reign of the old king are no longer even history to their elders. The alliance of men and elves and dwarves is lost. All those good men who brought into the Wode, who you trained and raised, died out long ago. And there isn't a soul in these lands that remember the oaths sworn to you back then. The laws that had been in place between you and the old king are no longer, and the knights have all died. Your borders are constantly disregarded. Hope for mankind has dwindled and is but lost. The dwarfs, their fate is unknown even to our gods in the sky. But my king, a war is coming. A war that will tear field, root, and stone in twain. The elders of the High Council have secured a position of security and safety in this world that is to come. And now, I ask, no, good king, I beg of you, and she gets on her knees, for the sake of your people, join our kin, that we may be one, once again, daughters and son of Val, not of the sky or the sun or the sea or the forest, but one people under Val, that we might continue on.
There is someone alive who knows the oath, though, I think.
Your Majesty, she stands up. If it is not enough to say that your borders have broken, think of the lives lost by the goblins and hobgoblins which encroached on the west, the men who cut down trees in the forest to the east. And now you believe to have the safety of your people in your heart when these three, not blessed by Val, were able to enter your sacred territory? If you, and she makes a step up the stairs, and these two sharpshooters kind of step in, and she doesn't go all the way up the stairs, but she stays where she is. She says, if you join with the High Elves, with the High Council, if you show to Ajax that you can be willing to cooperate with him, you will be spared. This war is of human and dwarf and Hakan. This war isn't of the elves. The elves will persist. The king strokes his beard and says, in Kalian, I will not abandon my people. And Falling Star of a Sea of Darkness says, King, you don't have to abandon your people. this is saving your people. If you offer to Ajax, if you show him a sign of your willingness, perhaps a donation of one of your artifacts, perhaps a donation to the body banks or the gladiatorium in Ajax's central command. A time raider, a devil,
Oh.
and an escapee from the lands far to the east would be very favorable. With that, you could buy your people safety and freedom, the freedom that they deserve.
I want to interrupt her so bad, but that's so rude.
Now, negotiation is opening. She steps back, and the Lady of Fallen Roses summons you forward, Lirael, and all of you.
Yeah, I don't go all the way up. I don't even approach the stairs.
Okay. King Cadfell of the Wode has 3 patience and 2 interest in what you have to say.
We have some more leeway than we have in the past because 2 patience is a lot. 3 patience is insane.
Bring up the forest. Bring up the Wode.
Bring up-
The fact that it's not going to be protected if this deal goes through. That Ajax is going to probably pillage it more, deforest it more.
Ajax will burn the wood.
The war won't stop with dwarves or humans or Hakan. It's going to continue to encroach on every territory.
I agree. I think we should.
But I would bring up the fact that probably the goblins are probably not going to get any better. You should mention that you think that the High Elves and the Wode Elves should join forces, though.
But
that is
not
a good idea,
under Ajax.
But not under Ajax.
The old
Not like
alliances.
she's...
I have a
thinking
question.
they should.
Mm-hmm.
Clarification question, actually. The oath that our devil took here.
Mm-hmm.
What was that oath?
It's the Delian Oath.
The Delian oath. And that was not...
In the tomb, yeah.
That is not the same oath that they are talking about up there. Or
It
is
is
it?
an oath, and
It
is
is
a
an
powerful
oath.
So you should bring that up. You should mention that.
Yeah.
That
Our
she has been chosen
Oksana
by a warrior.
carries the shield.
Yeah, she's been chosen by a warrior in the tomb. The soul of a warrior in the tomb. So that's one thing.
Yeah, but what if they were... Wait a minute. The tomb was for humans. The craftsmanship was dwarven.
Mm-hmm.
The script was elvish.
Yes, the old pact.
So that is the old pact. Okay.
It is.
That
That's
is
a good-
the old pack. Yeah,
That
I
is the
wish
old
I could
pact.
award inspiration right now, but I can't.
Yeah.
So whatever.
A
Yeah.
hope token.
Yeah, that's
Fine, I'll give you a
That's
hope
good
token.
enough.
Sure,
No,
sure,
no,
sure.
I was kidding. You don't need to do that.
I'll give you a
go.
hope token.
Okay.
Generally, for negotiation, the kind of the actions that you have per se are to uncover motivations,
Yeah.
right? Making
Which
an
Ellie gives a
argument,
benefit to,
yeah.
Mhm.
Making an argument,
which I'm very good at.
and that argument
gotta have in
can
the back.
either be like appeal to a motivation, or it can be like appeal to a motivation is like, hey, I know a motivation that the king has, and so this argument is going to specifically like target that thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a straight up like an argument that you have to roll for.
I think uncovering pitfalls is a good idea. If we can
I
that.
do as well. I think figuring out
Figuring out what not to say.
I'm worried that mentioning the old oath is actually a pitfall here. I
Could
don't
be.
think it is,
I feel like it's probably going to be on the other end. I feel like it's
but
probably.
I feel like Oksana was the one who took the oath. I can mention that she took the oath,
Right.
and that maybe I have a little list of goals I wrote
I have
down.
a little list.
I have a little list. Convince the king not to join Ajax. Done. We don't have to.
Mhm.
Convince the king not to antagonize the High Elves and to join forces. That's gonna be hard. Seek allies and to seek out other allies. The old oath is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think either we can try to take a risk and try to uncover motivation, and try to see if we can find a pitfall, or tell if the Delian Oath is a sore spot, or if it's a good thing that someone took it up again.
Yeah.
I think it's a risk. What do you think?
What do you mean?
I think because if we
Are you saying
fail
you
the
just want
roll,
to go for it, or do you want to uncover the thing first?
I
The
want
motivations.
to mention it. The impulsive part of me wants to just say it.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think maybe a read person first. I don't know.
I don't. Let me
Something to try and like bring out.
see what I've got.
I feel like his motivations are going to be pretty straightforward. He wants to protect his people, and he wants to protect the Wode. He wants to probably stay in the Wode, if we're being honest.
When Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness talked about the oath failing, what was the king's expression?
It's good.
Or can I use
like
that as my information gathering?
the king's expression was very much like you just brought up like an old friend that died a long time ago. It's like it's long enough ago where like he isn't pained by sorrow, but you can definitely tell that it was something that was important to him. Yeah, he had a really good relationship with the old king of Vasloria.
Who's long gone.
Oh, like humans don't even remember the old. Like basically, it's like King Arthur, like the first king of Vasloria. He was really tight with, and he and the old king and one of the dwarf nobles formed like an alliance back in the old days.
Would the dwarves remember? That's not necessarily relevant to right now.
No, it is not.
But it's just curiosity.
Possible.
I think. Do we lead with the Delian Oath, or do we hold that in our back pocket?
I think we lead with. First of all, she's asking a question. Is Ajax a threat? That's absolutely a yes.
Yes, that is a yes.
Will he come for their people? Yeah, eventually.
Yes. I absolutely believe that. I just don't have proof of that.
Right. That's where.
Well, actually, no. I have proof, but I don't know if he'd accept it as proof.
Well, that's where I think our.
You know what the proof? You know what the proof is, Chris.
What is it?
The proof
is
in
you.
the pudding.
You're the fucking proof.
Well, yeah, but that's still in the realm of human disagreements.
Correct.
So I don't know that he would take that as.
I don't either.
We could give it a shot, but I don't know that that's necessarily going to.
I think that's too risky.
I think so too.
I
think Delian Oath is going to be a good bet. I don't know that we lead with it.
No. Yeah. Then I am going.
Right now, we're in the information gathering.
Yeah, I agree.
So we have to do something to gather information.
Yeah.
So she asked me that in Heraldic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she asks me that.
Then in response. I'm not even gonna fucking try to bullshit that. I said I believe that the tyrant is not to be trusted, and that he will bring more ruin than any other human.
At this Falling Star like looks over at you and is like oh thank you, like she's like oh right, like thank you.
No,
you got to hit with a however.
Oh no, I don't. I believe the tyrant is not to be trusted. I am actively
Oh!
speaking against her.
No, her face sours then, and she's
Yeah.
like, oh, she just looks
Oh,
at you
fuck.
and just disappointment, just like
Yeah,
disappointment.
well, eat shit. I don't work with fascists. I'm gonna continue in Heraldic without typing it out.
Okay.
Right.
I love the idea of this time reader being like, I have no idea what the fuck is going. Oh no, the time reader
You were
speaks
all
Heraldic.
going on.
You speak
Right,
Heraldic.
yeah.
I just speak Heraldic.
So it's really the devil
He
that's
speaks
like, I don't
Heraldic.
know what the fuck's happening.
Nope, she knows what's happening. It's
Oh, so it's just
Just
Dynaro.
me.
It's just Dynaro.
It's only me.
I'm sorry.
I took the one language that was going to be useless.
I agree with the sentiment of our cousin that we divided, we are more vulnerable to this tyrant. I believe that we as a people should unite against Ajax, against the tyrant, reform the old alliance.
At this, you hear a noise
Yeah.
from the king that says,
Segue into the oath.
I gesture to Oksana to recite the oath, although I know Ellie is not here.
He steps up from his throne and says, and Kalian, and what allies would join us? The humans that currently burn our forest to the east? The dwarves, who have betrayed us, stealing our precious jewels and hiding them deep within the earth? The Hakan, savages of the forest. What united front could we possibly attain? That unity was broken a long, long time ago, before you were brought into this world, young one.
If I might, Your Majesty, all of those races are not monoliths. Some of them might see the light. They could be convinced to join, to fight against Ajax, the terror, the conqueror, the madman that he is.
The king says, "You dare raise voice to me when I have not given you permission in this court to speak so? I don't know how it is in Higara where you come from.
It's torn to shit because of Ajax. Don't you speak of my homeland. Unfortunately, it has been laid to waste. I am sorry I spoke out of turn, Your Grace. But I cannot sit back and watch your people suffer the same fate as mine."
Okay, I'm gonna have you. That is an appeal to emotion. That is like straight up an argument of like, hey,
Hell yeah.
I'm here. I'm proof that Ajax is bad news. So you need to listen to me. So I'm gonna have you roll either a reason, intuition, or presence test. Probably presence would make most sense.
All right.
Yeah. Come on, please, please.
Let me see.
I'm cheering for you, man.
I hope so. Let's see. Please.
Come on.
Pretty good.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
You see his ears perk up and a smile across his face. Interest goes up by 1,
All right.
but patience goes down by 1.
That's fair.
And
yeah,
he says,
we take that.
he says in Kalian, "Ho! Long have the days been that last I heard the tongue of man speak fire to me like that. You are forgiven, young one. You show
Damn.
strength in your words, strength that I have not heard in the voice of man for many, many, many years. But speak out of turn you did."
I bow.
He sits back down. And the Lady of Fallen Roses leans
That was
over
so
and
good.
whispers in Cadfael's ear, and he kind of swats her away.
So, how do I... Men may have forgotten the oath. The dwarves may have forgotten the oath. The world has not forgotten the oath. another speaker of the oath yet lives. And I gesture to. Oh god, this is gonna be bad as well. I gesture to Oksana and the shield she carries.
Hmm.
Okay, let me think about this because it told me not. It's a secret thing, but I'll be honest. I think this guy already knows the secret, so I think I think she'll recite it.
You recite the oath, and the king, who is currently like absent-mindedly playing with his scepter, as you step forward and recite the oath, and you show the shield that you have, his scepter falls to the ground, and his eyes grow wide, and he quickly whispers something to the Lady of Fallen Rose, and she steps down, and she like examines your shield. And she's like looking it up and down with these large, like apple-sized violet eyes. And she goes back up to the king and whispers something in his ear. And the king looks over to Falling Star over a sea of darkness and says, "There are still those that live, that know of the oath. It seems that above all else, that ancient day and time where me and the old king of men rallied together, its spirit is still alive, if now faint and wielded in the hands of a devil, but alive thusly." Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness says, "My lord, you must not listen to this one. It is but an act, a ruse."
Didn't you personally vouch for her?
you-
Them. Sorry, I would
Are
say
you
them.
talking? Are you talking?
No, her works.
I'm talking to Falling Star.
All genders for Laurel.
Falling Star
No.
over a Sea of Darkness says, "I thought that Lirael would choose her own people above
It
your
seems she
lot."
has.
Oh, that's so good. I was literally thinking the exact same thing.
Yup.
Woo!
Laurel just has too much decorum to interrupt.
The king says, "Silence!
Apologies, my liege.
On one hand, I have someone asking me to leave my home, to bring my people to the High Elves, to cower from some human warlord. And yet on the other, a whisper, an illusion of hope. I cannot put my people's lives on the line for an old shield and a devil that speaks the old oath."
God, how do you...
Permission to speak, sir? I believe that hope, however faint, is something worth holding on to. It is not for me, with my land torn asunder, to tell you how to treat your people or do with them what you would. I have served many a lord. But in my time, hope is what made me who I am. If I did not have hope that I could avenge my people's deaths, if I could not find my village, they were slaughtered, if I could not find their killer, if I had no hope in my heart of that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be with these fine people. I wouldn't be with Lirael. I think it's dangerous to hope, and I think you're right to be afraid, but I still think that it's worth doing, and that sitting here, letting the war play out in the background, would only lead to more suffering.
I think that's appeal to probably like reason, because it is emotional, but it's also like you're kind of talking about like here's how you survive this situation.
Yep.
But I would say you need to make a roll for that.
Okay.
God,
Please don't fail me now.
please come on. I need that drama. I need a crit.
Well, I have a -1, so.
Oh, that hurts.
Uh,
That's bad. That is the worst it could have been.
Mm.
Yeah, both decrease by 1.
so both go down by 1, and his response is hope. Yes, hope. Spoken like a true son of man. Hope. And tell me, young one from the east, where was the hope of man during the dark years of the twilight forest? Where was the determination and spirit of man during the great fire of Ithilwan that killed half my people and starved another quarter? Man has shown they only care about vengeance, revenge, wars. It's all you ever seem to do. Perhaps man has faded. What is one Higarn against an army? There is no hope. Not for the elves. We do not subject our minds to such foolish thoughts.
I mean, to be fair, he hasn't seen what I can do, so.
Yeah.
So
I'm letting him get away with saying that, okay?
if y'all don't mind, I would like to try to figure out uncovering motivations. I would like to try to uncover motivation
Okay.
using presence. So do I have an edge on this or no?
You do have an edge on this.
So +2 plus edge.
Please.
Please. Please. God, please.
Oh.
Yep.
I learned nothing, but
You don't learn anything.
shit.
Mm.
But so far,
neither of them notice.
you know, yeah, you kind of get distracted by looking at the Lady of Fallen Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So we can't reference things, arguments we've already tried.
Since you just went, Falling Star of a Sea of Darkness is going to step forward
That's right, Narkness.
and
Good piece of shit.
oh, that's
Whoa!
That's-
Whoa!
that's not good.
Whoa!
That's good for us. Good for us.
Falling Star of a Sea of Darkness says,
Puts her foot in her mouth.
the only way for you to survive is by giving an offering to Ajax. We must bend the knee to him. And as she says bend the knee, she closes her eyes like, oh fuck, I fucked up. And the king says, bend the knee? Bend the knee to a human? And he stands up. One of his pitfalls is higher authority. There is no higher authority than the king. Even
Yeah,
the gods,
okay.
even the gods
right.
and saints of the Wode Elves are to be revered, not obeyed.
Okay, I figured it was something like that.
So
glad.
I'm gonna
okay.
say that his patient remain the same, but his interest actually goes back up towards you. So like his interest goes back up from her hitting a
Then
pitfall.
I would like to take advantage of this.
Okay.
Let's go.
Laurel breaks decorum, using her intuition as an actress rather than a diplomat to take to do what someone in a play would do.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just finish. Hold on.
Okay.
That is wholly untrue. We as a people are stronger than this Ajax even knows. Why should we bend the knee to him? Why should us, any of our cousins, bend the knee to this human tyrant? This is preposterous, short-sighted, and foolish.
Keep going. You're
Yeah.
close to hitting a motivation. You're
I
so
know.
close.
I'm trying. I just don't know. Where is it? In which direction is it in?
Well, he's really upset
We-
about the fact that someone would
Yeah.
command him to bow the knee.
God, Laurel does not like authority, but she knows as an actress that she's got to play the part for a moment.
Gotta do it.
Why should our kin, any of us, bend the knee to someone other than the king, other than the council? Why should anyone of us bend the knee to... Laurel stops herself from calling humans lesser beings.
If it'll help, do it.
To bend the knee to the fucking tyrant. The authority... I might not be a Wode elf, but even I can understand the authority of the king of the Wode elves and the influence that he has over his people.
Independence seems important to him.
Independent... Yeah, that's what I was about to get to.
There we go. I think we're gonna get it.
God, how do I phrase it, though? Fuck. Moment paused as Julia has an aneurysm.
I would say right now you would be rolling still, but you would be rolling to appeal to a motivation.
Mhm.
But unless you can
Okay.
figure out something to wrap this up nicely, I might just give you an automatic success.
Hmm.
But otherwise, you have to roll. I'm sorry, you're so
I
close.
do feel like
You're
I
so
feel
close.
I feel like it's the independence of the Wode elves. I feel like that's it, but how do I get there?
Bending the knee does not get them any closer to independence from the High Elves. Say something along those lines.
Yeah.
In fact,
But
it gets
they're
them
already
serving
independent from the
a
High Elves.
human.
Yeah.
Well, but the High Elves are trying to interfere with them, especially
Yeah.
this one, Falling
Yeah.
Star over Sea of Darkness. They're trying to interfere with them and take away their
The-
autonomy.
God, do I throw my cousin my own sister under the bus? She's not literally my sister, but I think I do. While I step forward, not far enough to have them be anxious, but enough.
Yeah.
My sister and the council would have the Wode elves bend the knee. Have you bend the knee to them? But I don't think that's the future anyone wants. The independence and the freedom of your kind, of your people,
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding.
is
Freedom.
is far more important than cowering and surviving under the thumb of a human tyrant.
Let alone the High Elves.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. The interest goes up by 1. You have hit on. You don't have to make a roll or anything. You've just hit the one of the other motivations, which is freedom. He's a king, not a lackey. He answers to no one now and doesn't want to answer to anyone. The freedom of Wode elves is
Yes.
particularly important to him, and their independence from high elves.
As she's coming down off of the adrenaline rush, which is, I feel like an adrenaline rush is fairly rare for high
Send it
elves.
home. Send it home. Propose an alliance between the High Elves and the Wode Elves that would not interfere with either of their autonomy.
But I don't speak for the high elves.
I mean, right now.
I do not have the authority,
Yeah,
and I think he knows that.
yeah.
So I feel like a bullshit proposal like that wouldn't stand. But I feel like there is a suggestion.
Kind of writing out.
The one we made earlier, but we made the argument and it failed. That's why I don't want to do it.
I think you'll have one more chance to do something before the king's patience completely runs out.
Right.
How do we send it home? Do we try to send it home? Because we've already tried. No, wait, we haven't done any rolls trying to convince him that the old alliance could still stand. It was only hope. It was only
Yeah.
yeah. So is that how we want to send it home? Because that would. What do y'all think?
With Oksana as the embers of this new oath, we could go out and forge new ones. Something along those
shit.
That's
lines.
what I was thinking. Even offering to be emissaries.
Yeah.
Whoa!
do that.
Oh, be like basically pull a Pippin from Lord of the Rings, and it's like I
Yeah.
humbly offer my services to you. Great king.
Yeah, basically.
Right?
Yeah, no,
and
that's
Gandalf's
exactly
like,
what I'm thinking.
What the fuck
What
are
the
you
fuck
doing,
did you
kid?
do?
That's
Don't do
brilliant.
that.
That's
It is
brilliant. As a high elf, that's brilliant.
Oh, but you know what?
I'm
You know
gonna-
who it would be best coming from?
Oksana?
Oksana? Maybe.
Oksana.
I agree, but Ellie has a migraine and I don't want her to speak
Yeah.
if she
That's
doesn't
fair.
want to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It is your choice,
Or the
sweetheart.
human as well. You know, to humble
Ash.
yourself. You know.
I mean, either I think the oath speaker, the human humbling himself, or the high elf humbling themselves.
Oh shit! I didn't
all-
even think about the high elf. Like,
Mhm.
I think it's
yeah,
all good,
yeah.
It's all good.
but I
Or
think
the fucking
based on
alien.
Yeah.
Or
But if
the
y'all don't
alien.
mind, based on the momentum of the conversation, I feel
Mhm.
like it would swing directly into Laurel offering it.
Yeah.
Unless you disagree.
Go for it.
Unless, what do you think, Ellie? I saw you unmute.
Ed Hurt, I think you could do the argument for me.
Okay,
Okie dokie.
I offer you a hug, by the way.
An
Okay.
egg in these trying times.
Then I'm gonna take a gamble. Alright. As you've seen, the old oath is not dead. The old oath lives on with someone new. The ties that were once forged might be rekindled. I offer you this. I get on one knee. I offer mine services as an emissary diplomat to rekindle the old alliance, to fight the forces of Ajax, if only we would have your support, your grace and support.
I am going to have you roll a presence test in the dice tower.
Can it be any of my skills, like persuade?
No, it's not a skill. It's just a
No.
power roll
Just
plus
presence.
presence.
All
You
right.
do get an edge. You do get an
I
edge.
do have an edge. Come on, please. Please. Now is the time.
Now is the absolute time.
Please, it would be so funny. And then I get 2 ones.
Please don't say that.
I already did.
Yeah.
There is silence in the court. Everyone is at full attention. Even the guards now are like kind of looking back and forth between the king and the queen, like kind of unsure of what's kind of happening.
For the first time, probably since initially training for an acting position, Laurel is actually nervous.
Mm.
The king strokes his blue goatee, and his aged, wise eyes kind of looks to Falling Star over a Sea of Darkness, and then Song in a Hastened Heart, just kind of back and forth, and eventually connects with the Lady of Fallen Rose, and they share a moment together. And Falling Star steps up and says, "My king, there is not an option. You either join us with Ajax or you will die."
You're shooting yourself in the foot there.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
And the king makes a motion, and the 2 sharpshooters next to her like push her back. And one of them trains has his hand on his like sword.
Ooh.
Damn.
And he stands up and says, "I am a king!" Not some lackey to be prodded and poked around. I've seen more bravery and spirit in these band of outlanders than any high elf noble that has knelt to Ajax. It is time. We must act. We can no longer hide in the forest. It is not safe. I believe that we have a chance to rekindle something here. And I would happily accept you into my service, Lirael. And Falling Star of a Sea of Darkness says, "Fools, no, don't, you must not, you must not." And she starts looking up at the sky.
It isn't too late.
And he says, "Silence, I have made my decision." And she's looking up at the sky and she says, "No,
I'm looking
please,
where she's looking.
please, no, give him more time, please." And you see 3 hawks
That's fucking.
Yup.
dive bombing
Doing shit up.
into
No, this is bad.
the throne room, and you see that she has led the Hawk Lords to
I fucking
where the
knew it.
king is.